In the first quarter of the 3rd century before Christ, Rome continued to pursue an active policy of subjugating the territories of the Apennine Peninsula. In the south of Italy, the interests of the Roman Republic clashed with the sphere of influence of the rich and powerful city of Tarentum, inhabited by the descendants of the Hellenes. The former Greek polis in every possible way opposed the policy of the Romans, seeking to preserve its economic and political independence. War broke out between Rome and Tarentum. In an open battle, the Tarentines were defeated. The tyrant of Tarentum, Agathocles, appealed for help to the most powerful, fearless, and talented commander of the ruler of that era, Pyrrhus, king of Epirus. He willingly agreed to help the Greeks in their fight against the Romans. At the beginning of 286th year before Christ, the army of Pyrrhus sailed from Epirus shores, keeping a course on Tarentum. In the spring, Pyrrhus and his army landed on the coast of southern Italy. The first battle of Romans and Epirotes took place in the middle of summer at the river Epirus, near the city of Heraclea. Seeing the enemy army preparing to attack, Pyrrhus said, "Outwardly, the Romans, the essence of barbarians, and the order in the army is almost perfect. Let's see what they are in action." The army of Consul Publius Levin had a numerical advantage, but was completely defeated. Particularly great damage to her elephants. These huge animals terrified Roman soldiers and horses, sweeping them away and making them flee. Her losses amounted to 7,000 killed and 2,000 prisoners. Epirotes lost up to 4,000 killed and wounded. After the victory at the banks of the river Epirus, King Epirus easily conquered the southern Roman provinces, Lucania and Bruttium. The Roman Senate in a hurry pulled its legions to the capital and immediately moved them to the south to stop the conqueror. Pyrrhus tried to start negotiations for peace, but Rome refused. After a series of maneuvers and the failure of peace talks, hostilities resumed. The Roman consuls Publius Sulpicius Severian and Publius Decius Mucius decided to deal with the enemy in the province of Apulia, not allowing him to enter central Italy. Pyrrhus did not wait for the arrival of the Romans and came out to meet them. Both armies converged in the western part of Puglia on the edge of the Apennine Mountains, near the town of Osculum. The Roman army numbered 30,000 soldiers, and Pyrrhus had 25,000 soldiers and 19 war elephants. The legions again suffered a heavy defeat. Romans only lost 6,000 people, the wounded were much more. Pyrrhus lost half as many soldiers dead. The losses of Pyrrhus' army were so impressive that he said sorrowfully, "One more such victory, and there will be nothing left of my army." This was the origin of the famous expression, Pyrrhic victory, a victory tantamount to defeat. Later, if Roman sources are to be believed, the king of Epirus repeatedly lamented, uttering the following phrase, "Oh, if I had Roman soldiers, or if I were a Roman king, I would certainly conquer the whole world." After the brilliant victories at Heraclea and Oscula, the king of Epirus was ready to go straight to Rome, but for this campaign he needed money, food, and soldiers. However, the ruling circles of Tarentum were not going to help Pyrrhus in his endeavor. The south of Italy was once again Greek, so the Tarentines considered the job done. Pyrrhus found himself in a difficult situation. He could not continue the war, nor could he withdraw, thus leaving the fruits of great victories bought by the blood of his warriors. While Pyrrhus was forced to inactivity, Rome was pulling new forces to the south, preparing to take revenge. Seeing that the situation is not in his favor, the king of Epirus once again decided to begin negotiations with the Senate for peace. Rome refused, having secured the support of Carthage. To Pyrrhus arrived ambassadors from Sicily. This island still belonged to the Greek colonists and was at war with Carthage for its independence. Epirus' ruler willingly accepted the offer to oppose the Carthaginians in alliance with Syracuse. Pyrrhus left garrisons in Tarentum and Locre, and himself crossed to Sicily. In Italy, Epirus' king returned only after 3 years. Southern Italy during the absence of Pyrrhus almost all again came under the control of Rome. Tarentum again offered the Epirus commander an alliance, and he, despite the obvious superiority of the enemy and his own disadvantageous position, agreed. And here at the city of Beneventa, army consul Mania Curia gave battle to the army of Pyrrhus. In the decisive battle, Pyrrhus could not defeat the Romans, who with the help of fire and burning arrows learned to scare off the fighting elephants. Besides, Roman army had numerical advantage in cavalry. Later, ancient Roman historians would call the Battle of Beneventa the defeat of Pyrrhus. In fact, the Epirus king only made several attacks on the Romans without success. The Roman army captured only the Epirus camp with a transport for elephants and a few hundred men. In full battle order and not pursued by anyone, Pyrrhus retreated to Tarentum. In the fall of the 275th year before Christ, the Epirus commander left Italy forever. Pyrrhus turned out to be the only Hellenistic ruler who managed to defeat the Roman legions in two large-scale battles.